Good afternoon, or evening, or morning, depending on what part of the world you're in. This is David Rovix with another episode of my weekly Wednesday winter Omicron broadcast, which has been varying between music and talking with folks. And this week I thought I'd play the guitar for a change. I've been playing the mandola mostly lately, and been really getting into the bouzouki lately too. And I'm hoping some if there's somebody with $2,000 extra who wants to buy me a mando cello. I really want a mando cello. I cannot afford it, but somebody was very nice enough to be in the non-profit business of buying me a new guitar a few months ago, and which is an amazing thing, and it's a gorgeous instrument, and this is it. It's Collings, and made in Texas, where many fine things are made, including my first child. And here's a random song to do. I'm taking requests. But here's a song I sang a whole lot in the fall of 2011, I guess it was. Because this is where they buy the politicians. Because this is where power has its seat. Because 99% of us are suffering at the mercy of the madmen on this street. Because all of us are victims of class warfare being waged on us by the 1%. Because these greedy banksters rob the country, leaving us without the means to pay the rent. Because both my parents lost their savings. Because I have never opened an account. Because the interest on my credit card just doubled. Now I can't pay the minimum amount. Because these budget cuts are just immoral. Our schools as overcrowded as they are. Because there are no buses where I live. But I can't afford to drive a car. We're gonna stay right here. We're gonna stay right here. Because it has been demonstrated amply that the winners are the ones who stick around. Because this world should belong to everyone, not just the banksters who would smash it to the ground. Because we've noticed voting doesn't change things when the politicians are mostly millionaires. Because we're learning how to stand up like Tunisians, like they did in Tahrir Square. We're gonna stay right here. We're gonna stay right here. Because corporations are not people, and we can't just let them choose. Because if we leave our fate to them, then all of us will surely lose. Because the climate clock is ticking, and we can't just leave our world behind. Because corporate rule isn't working, and it's time for humans' hearts and minds. We're gonna stay right here. We're gonna stay right here. I'm glad it sounds good out there. It sounds amazing in the living room here, but I just haven't used this pickup enough to know what it sounds like out there in the world. But I'm using a pickup, K&K pickup, and a K&K preamp for anybody geeky enough to care about such things. Which is, I don't know what percentage of the audience. I've probably just lost 99% of you. But the 1% who care, you should know about K&K pickups. LR Bags makes great pickups too. Okay, let's see. The striptease segment of the evening. Don't know how it is that singing one song gets me that worked up. I take requests. Let's see. Okay. So, sounds bright. I wonder if I have tone control here. What is this? No, it's just volume on that preamp. I don't know, but I assume that's because the tone is so good that it doesn't need tone control. Is that the idea? Like it would, I can just imagine that would have been the idea. If you want to change the tone, you just adjust the microphone that's inside the guitar. Good. Kamala, we've had a request. Oh, Eureka Stockade, gosh. I haven't done that in ages. But Landlord, I can pull off. And it's certainly where my heart is at, as usual. The Randall Group, CTL Management, my landlord here in Portland. And for any of you out there who might be on the West Coast, you might have the Randall Group as your landlord. They own 100 buildings up and down the coast. They just raised the rent by another $100. Goes into effect in April, bringing our rent up to $1,275 for this moldy 2-bedroom apartment, which was $500 when I moved in. Damn investment hedge funds. The biggest problem with hedge funds is you can't strangle them because it's a hedge fund. It's not a person, you know. But we can figure out who the board is. Question about reading song lyrics somewhere. Most of these lyrics can be found at davidrovics.com/songbook if you're looking for lyrics. And also on Bandcamp, there's always lyrics. The patroons came from Holland to America, became landlords where none had been before. Soon one man owned 500,000 acres on both sides of the Hudson River shore. He invited families to move in and give him 30% of everything they grew every year. This is how they pay the rent. His name was Van Rensselaer. He became one of the richest men on earth. In today's terms, $90 billion is how much he'd be worth. All this for doing nothing but saying all of this was his. I have the power of the state behind me, and I'm in the landlord biz. After 200 years of this and one revolution, another Van Rensselaer had another son. But this Rensselaer was greedier than his ancestors, dead and past. It was the 1840s, and things were changing fast. It was the straw that broke the back The bottle was uncorked. They started organizing meetings, the tenant farmers of New York. They found the strength of numbers. They found the power of suggestion. They found each other asking the same question. Who gave you the right to be a landlord? To live a life of ease while others toil? Who gave you the right to be a rich man while the rest of us pay you so we can work this soil? They vowed they would stop the rent collection. They vowed they'd bring this madness to an end. And when one blew the tin horn of distress, he soon found he had 1,000 friends. With calico skirts, masks upon their faces, on horseback armed with knives and guns. They chanted and they yelled, they kept their farms, they kept the sheriffs on the run. They asked, who gave you the right to be a landlord? To live a life of ease while others toil? Who gave you the right to be a rich man while the rest of us pay you so we can work this soil? Governors, militias tried to stop them, but nothing could be done to break their will. And by 1848 the landlords buckled, sold their holdings to the farmers in the hills. Yes, they overthrew this feudal system, but it's replaced now by speculators and banks. And you can still hear the homeless families asking of all the landed gentry in our ranks, who gave you the right to be a landlord? To live a life of ease while others toil? Who gave you the right to be a rich man while the rest of us pay you so we can work this soil? Who gave you the right to be a landlord? To live a life of ease while others toil? Who gave you the right to be a rich man while the rest of us pay you so we can work this soil? Who gave you the right? Let's see here. Well, now I have to do more landlord-related songs. Let's see what, also just to contrast that one with this. Tell me what this sounds like. For just a really different guitar sound. Goes out to Bernard, who just posted on Twitter recently at the PDX Houseless Radicals Collective here in Portland. He had a fire in his tent. Over 100 people died last year on the streets of Portland under similar circumstances. It's 2019. Looking around at the tents and trash and excrement scattered on the ground. So many mansions overlooking the sea. Stretch limos, Rolls Royces, and movie stars all over Los Angeles County. It's 2019. And one thing I know is most people wish we could rewind to a couple of decades ago. Before the rents tripled, folk began to move out into their cars, into their tents, where drivers look on however loudly you shout. It's 2019. But in a black and white photo, it could be 1929. Wherever you go, in every single neighborhood, hungry people wonder why Some make billions on a blockbuster, while so many are left out to die. It's 2019, where every 8 hours someone is found cold on the sidewalk beneath the glass and steel towers in the wealthiest nation in all of human history. So far from paradise, so close to Walt Disney. It's 2019. There's no Dust Bowl, just real estate speculators and all the lives they stole. I don't know what to think when I hear the reporters say 1,000 people died last year living on the streets of LA. It's 2019. Oh, let's see. I'm getting song requests for songs that I don't remember, but that's a wonderful thing because it reminds me that I should work on them. But no, I do know that one, and this is for all of you. When the world has gone crazy, and it's all becoming clear, when they're gunning down our comrades, and it seems the end is near, as they're loading up the launchers for the tear gas grenades, we can take off our bandanas and kiss behind the barricades. They will try to break our spirit, and at times they may succeed, but our love for the world is stronger than their greed. When the building is surrounded and hope begins to fade, in my final hour, a kiss behind the barricades. But what's next? I'm missing a verse here. That's pathetic. Wait a sec here. When it's madness all around, and you can see this at a glance, we will sing and we will cry, we will laugh and we will dance. As they shout their marching orders beneath the helicopter blades, we shall seize the moment for a kiss behind the barricades. As the movement grows, there will be hills and bends, but at the center of the struggle are your lovers and your friends. And the more we hold each other up, the less we can be swayed. Here's to love and solidarity, and a kiss behind the barricades. Well, it's the loneliness gets to a lot of people out there. If you're not having a famine. Okay, we got more requests. Good, good. I'll do this though, just for guitar playing contrast exercises and because it's near the B part of the alphabet where I am here. Time I leave the apartment, things change a little more. The rug pulled out so many times, who knows where's the floor. Folks look more ragged by the day, I can give them a few bucks. Wonder what the future holds, wish them luck as I walk on by. see the people on their porches, chairs out on a deck. Sometimes you can tell which ones received their checks, which ones are still waiting after all these many weeks, wondering if this is what it smells like in Schitt's Creek as I walk on by. When my children ask me, I'm not quite sure what to say. Why the playground's always empty, where the kids all used to play. Why the people cross the street now whenever we come near. Where did all the people go who used to be here as I walk on by? Go out with my headphones on, like everybody else does, listening for news suddenly relevant because we all want to know how the virus might transform. All of us still here, weathering this storm as I walk on by. As I walk on by. As I walk on by. Well, this is good. I'm getting lots more requests, and that makes it easy when they're requests that I have some chance of remembering. Here's a song that was originally written as a poem during the Paris Commune in the 1870s. It was turned into a song 10 years later. And it became one of the most popular songs in the history of the world. And this is Alistair Hewlett's version, more or less. Great Scottish songwriter who I toured a lot with before, who you should check out if you don't know him. Arise, you workers, from your slumbers. Arise, you prisoners of want. For reason in revolt now thunders, and at last ends the age of Kant. Away with all your superstitions, servile masses. Arise, arise. We'll change henceforth the old traditions. Spurn the dust to win the prize. Also, comrades, come rally, and the last fight let us face. The Internationale unites the human race. Also, comrades, come rally, and the last fight let us face. The Internationale unites the human race. No more deluded by reaction. On tyrants only will make war. The soldiers too will take strike action. They'll break ranks, they'll fight no more. And if these cannibals keep trying to sacrifice us to their pride, they soon shall hear the bullets flying. We'll shoot the generals on our own side. Also, comrades, come rally, and the last fight let us face. The Internationale unites the human race. Also, comrades, come rally, and the last fight let us face. The Internationale unites the human race. No savior from on high delivers. No faith have we in prince or peer. Our own right hand of chains must shiver, chains of hatred, greed, and fear. Ere the thieves will out with their booty and give all a happier lot. Each at the forge must do their duty and strike while the iron is hot. Also, comrades, come rally, and the last fight let us face. The Internationale unites the human race. Also, comrades, come rally, and the last fight let us face. The Internationale unites the human race. The Internationale unites the human race. Oh, wonderful. Somebody says, Cesar Augusto says, get me through my COVID isolation. I don't know if I'm helping, but if I'm helping, then that is good, because that's what I aim to be doing with these broadcasts. If I could get you through other things, like in the real world, I'd prefer that, but oh, well, let's see here. I know I love having enough requests that I don't. Okay, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's see. I don't have to. I can't even do all the requests, which is a great problem to have. Yes. Oh, good. If you're looking at least some edition or the other of the Little Red Songbook, you can find this next song in there. I think the fact that some of my songs are in the Little Red Songbook in a more modern edition is certainly one of my greatest achievements in life. And I didn't even try to get in there either. That's... This is a song who was written by a member of the same union I'm a member of, but he was the chairman of the union and it had millions of members at the time, and his name was Ralph Chaplin. And the tune is an old tune, but the words were written in the 19-teens, I believe. Maybe not earlier than that. When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. They have taken untold millions that they never toiled to earn, yet without our brains and muscle not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old. for the Union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the Union makes us strong. In my most recent tour in the fall in Germany and in England, I was finding, especially in the labor crowd, that was a great one to sing. People knew that song in English, and that's I don't know what changed, but that didn't used to be the case so much. But I had a good time last Saturday singing for the municipal workers in this parsimonious municipality who are looking at the possibility of going on strike because of their bad treatment by this city's government that, employs them. And did a good little rally at City Hall. Here's a song written a long time ago, too. Not as old as that last song. This was written in 1932. Come, all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell, of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell. Which side are you on? 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 My daddy was a miner, I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won. Which side are you on? 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 Don't scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us working folks ain't got a chance unless we organize. Which side are you on? 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 Workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me if you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man? Which side are you on? 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 Well, let's see here. We'll do this. This is a favorite of the folks in Belfast. Was raised in Massachusetts on the farm where I was born. It's not the right key, is it? I was raised in Massachusetts on the farm where I was born. From the time I was a young lad, to the fields I was sworn. Before our corn could go to market, it was stolen from the mill and sent to Mother England from here in the Berkshire Hills. So when I heard there'd be a rising. I put on a uniform, slept barefoot in the mud beneath the thunderstorms. In war there is no glory, just friends and comrades killed, shattered lives and broken homes here in the Berkshire Hills. Then began the nightmare all over once again. The revolutions, debtors' prisons, filled with good, upstanding men. We said to hell with King John Adams. Of this farce we'd had our fill, and we set our sights on liberty here in the Berkshire Hills. Couldn't function, their judges on the run. Each new day we had our farms was a victory we'd won. For years we ruled our land, stood our ground until we made our last stand by Great Barrington here in the Berkshire Hills. My name is Danielle Shays, and I'm speaking to you now. If I fought a revolution, maybe you can tell me how. I was born a poor man, and I'm a poor man still. Bury me beneath the hemlock here in the Berkshire Hills. Oh, somebody's just pointing out where minimum wage strike is in the Little Red Songbook. Now, there's a song I haven't done in a long time. Ah, yes. And the song about Fidel, which I also haven't done in ages. I'm just getting slack here, and I really need to work on that one. Because, for one thing, it's like one of the most popular songs of mine on Spotify. All those commies. Loyal, music-loving communists who I should be singing for. I'll work on that one. My name is John Riley. I'll have your ear only a while. I left my dear home in Ireland. It was death, starvation, or exile. When I got to America, it was my duty to go. Enter the army and slog across Texas to join in the war against Mexico. It was there in the pueblos and hillsides that I saw the mistake I had made. Part of a conquering army with the morals of a bayonet blade. And there amidst all these poor dying Catholics, screaming children, the burning stench of it all, myself and 200 Irishmen decided to rise to the call. From Dublin City to San Diego, we witnessed freedom denied. So we formed the St Patrick Battalion, and we fought on the Mexican side. We formed the St Patrick Battalion, and we fought on the Mexican side. We marched neath the green flag of St Patrick, emblazoned with Erin Go Bragh. Bright with the harp and the shamrock, and Libertad para la Republica. Just 50 years after Wolf Tone, 5,000 miles away, the Yanks called us a legion of strangers, and they can talk as they may. But from Dublin City to San Diego, we witnessed freedom denied. So we formed the St Patrick Battalion, and we fought on the Mexican side. We formed the St Patrick Battalion, and we fought on the Mexican side. Them in 5 major battles. Churubusco was the last. Overwhelmed by the cannons from Boston, we fell after each mortar blast. Most of us died on that hillside in the service of the Mexican state. So far from our occupied homeland, we were heroes and victims of fate. From Dublin City to San Diego, we witnessed freedom denied. So we formed the St. Patrick Battalion, and we fought on the Mexican side. From Dublin City to San Diego, we witnessed freedom denied. So we formed the St. Patrick Battalion, and we fought on the Mexican side. We formed the St. Patrick Battalion, and we fought on the Mexican side. The last time I sang that song was the last time I sang it for you on a live stream. So it's, it's why, even if it might get repetitive for some people, including for me somehow or other, I still need to practice. My PayPal account was unfrozen for anybody who isn't following me on social media religiously and has better things to do. The PayPal froze my account because I guess it was November, I paid a $35 luggage fee for a piece of luggage that I was checking in at an airport. I can't even remember which airport. I guess it was Glasgow. I was in Glasgow. Oh, yeah. Checking in to a flight at the airport in Glasgow on KLM, and the baggage, the baggage code, the 5-letter, apparently randomly generated 5-letter baggage code was HAMAS, Hamas. And I noticed this and thought that was an unusual 5-letter randomly generated baggage code to end up with. But I, of course, what do you do? I said nothing, did nothing. I accepted this as the randomly generated 5 letters that it what apparently was. And then months later, here we are in January, I guess 2 months later, and PayPal froze my account because of this suspicious transaction. Well, and it said in the email they wanted to know why the word Hamas appeared. And of course, if they had actually read looked at the receipt instead of just relying on a bot to catch a 5-letter combination they didn't like, they would have seen it was a KLM luggage receipt from a transaction at an airport, But anyway, they figured it out after I explained it. So bizarre. I breathe the air that you do. eat the fruits of this land. I hold the apple in my hand. I am I feel the rain fall on my face, like the rest of the human race. I hold my baby tightly when he cries. I see him when I look into his eyes. I am when I walk for miles in the summer heat. Like you, I get blisters on my feet. When I cut myself with blood, I will perspire. When I try to climb over the wire, I am haven't done that in forever, clearly, but it's a nice song when you remember how it goes. Let's see. Speaking of Hamas, who I would not characterize as a terrorist organization, but who the U.S. does, and KLM should not use the 5-letter code. And and that last song reminded me when I mentioned the blood perspiring. I just gave blood yesterday, and you can too. Go to, if you're in the U.S., go to, what is it, redcrossblood.org. And apparently the hospitals in Oregon are desperately short on blood, and people are dying because of a shortage of blood. So they've declared an emergency, and they're going around collecting blood at the churches around here. I heard the marching, chanting, "Kill them all." I saw millions of people trapped behind ghetto walls. I saw the soldiers shooting every Friday afternoon. I saw some exposed to sickness, with others made immune. I saw the tear gas in Al-Aqsa, eyes open wide. I saw the mob attack the motorist and beat him till he died. I heard the generals lying. I saw the tanks moving in. I heard the settlers shouting, "Let the killing begin." Look up above, hear the ear-splitting sound. Watch the buildings crumble to the ground. See the planes in the sky there by the sea, so much like New York City. I heard the wailing voices of the dying and forlorn, of the kids who couldn't get out, and those who weren't warned. I saw all the schools and hospitals in pieces there still, from the last time the IOF came to maim and kill. I saw the brave children with piles of rocks facing tanks demolishing city blocks. What's left of the grove but some sap as they try to wipe Palestine off the map. Look up above, hear the ear-splitting sound. Watch the buildings crumble to the ground. See the planes in the sky there by the sea, so much like New York City. I heard the DNC and all the Republicans too pledge allegiance to Netanyahu. I heard the president starting the story with rockets from a ghetto where people live in rubble. Starved by an embargo, I saw a whole lot of crocodile tears on display for the zillionth time. I heard politicians say, can both sides please de-escalate? On one side are the occupied, on the other an apartheid state. Look up above, hear the ear-splitting sound. Watch the buildings crumble to the ground. See the planes in the sky there by the sea, so much like New York City. I heard them marching, chanting, kill them all. I saw millions of people trapped behind ghetto walls. Let's see here. A song for refugees in detention was the specific request, which is not a request for a particular song, but that's kind of nice. Flexibility. And yes, as Lawrence Jones points out, Hamas was democratically elected in not only Gaza, but in the West Bank. And you'll never hear the U.S. media talking about that, because it's all about where you start the story, where you start the timeline. So if the timeline starts after Hamas prevented their democratically elected government from being overthrown by Fatah operatives who were facilitated to get into Gaza by Israel, if not for their defense of their own election, that's where the U.S. usually starts the narrative, but not when they were democratically elected. Anyway, when Layla met Majnun, it was at a traffic light. He handed her his number at first sight. It all happened very quickly. Soon both of them were aware life can be so good. Okay, let's try that again. When Layla met Majnun, it was at a traffic light. He handed her his number at first sight. It all happened very quickly. Soon both of them were aware life can be so good when it's shared. When Layla met Majnun, it was convenient, it would seem. Both of them were living in the city of their dreams. They had no plan to leave and lots of plans to stay. But one day that all changed and they had to go away. So Layla and Majnun together left the country. They got on a crowded boat, sailed the Pacific Sea. They were headed to Australia, a place they thought they knew. Then the Australian Navy took them to Nauru, where Layla and Majnun were kept there in detention on a tiny little island, run just like a prison, where they were told by immigration, dream all that you can, but your only pathway off this island is on a boat back to Iran. Layla and Majnun, amid the heat and damp, tried to make the best of life in a prison camp. But the strongest of foundations eventually will shake, and the strongest of hearts eventually will break. Layla and Majnun were on the island when one day there came some visitors from the UN. The next thing Layla knew, she was witness to the scene of her beloved doused in gasoline. Layla saw Majnun in a state no one should be in, bright flames rising, burning off his skin. Sometimes you can reach a point so beaten down, so tired, the only option that seems left is to set yourself on fire. When Layla met Majnun, well, my friends, I'll leave you with one more little ditty. And, yeah, remember to don't get sick and die. Give blood if you can. There's a wonderful activist lawyer in Knoxville, Tennessee, named Chris Irwin, who shared with me a newspaper article from 1968, from which I wrote a song. Had to make up some of the details because the guy never got caught. I grew up on this mountain, came back here to dwell, maybe have a family, plant some corn and dig a well. I was all done with the army, back from Vietnam, where I learned how to hold a rifle and how to set a bomb. I grew up on this mountain, it's in my very soul. So when the company moved next door, started digging for the coal, tearing up the mountain with drillers and drag lines, I knew then what needed to happen to those mines. 10, 9, 8, sometimes that's just how it goes. 3, 2, 1, get out before it blows. Guard, he was sleeping on duty through the night. I stepped gently on the ground, stayed well out of sight. I tied sticks to the equipment, switched the timer on, and I knew that in 10 seconds those dozers would be gone. 10, 9, 8, sometimes that's just how it goes. 3, 2, 1, get out before it blows. Leave the mountain, I headed to the west. The cops were on my trail, and I figured it was best. And I figured I did my small part to make the world free in my humble manner in East Tennessee. 10, 9, 8, sometimes that's just how it goes. 3, 2, 1, get out before it blows. 10, 9, 8, sometimes that's just how it goes. 3, 2, 1, get out before it blows. thanks for listening. It's been fun hanging out with all you folks commenting on the various platforms. And this will be up in podcast form shortly. If you look for This Week with David Rovix, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want to support what I'm doing in these times of non-touring Omicron and all that, the collapse of the music industry before that, go to patreon.com/David Rovix. And if you can buy me a Mandocello, I will record an album with it and write a whole new album of songs on the subject of your choice. But you have to buy the Mandocello first. So, organization maybe? You got an organization with a budget? It's a good deal. You get me a Mandocello, and that's a good album that's going to come out of that. Okay, bye for now, everybody. And if you are somewhere in the world which is having a famine, I mean, I don't know what to say. There's too many places now. It's really incredible what's going on out there. And don't know what to say, but I'll just stop the broadcast and I'll come back next week. That's the key, I guess. Keep on going. That's the first step. That's what Pete Seeger always said. Take care, guys. Bye for now.